What should you be investing in? That's the question we're going to discuss today. And before we get started, I want you to know that this is not financial advice, but just my thoughts. And you should not take it as financial advice for your situation. Again, just my thoughts. Every person's financial situation is different, and this is why you have to learn the skills in order to implement them and find something that works, a solution that works for your goals and what you're trying to achieve. If you want to talk deeper about that and to get more information and gather the tools and such, comment below. I'd love to chat with you, and we can talk further. Maybe even we take it off of the social platform and we can talk a bit more further in more depth about your situation and help you get started investing or saving money or wherever you may be at. I'm Nate Gratian. I'm a popular investor on eToro, and that's where I do my personal investing for our family. Now, what should you invest in? Well, you should invest, everyone should have these investments as their foundation. Everyone's going to vary a little bit. Everyone's going to change a little bit. People will be a little more risky in some areas and not as much in other times of life. But, apologies for that. But there should be a foundation that you should be investing in. And if you are getting started investing, this is where you should start, okay? And you shouldn't deviate from this, basically, is my suggestion. The area to start in is with ETFs. ETFs stands for Exchange Traded Funds. This is basically a basket, which you've probably heard of if you've been watching my videos or others videos online. It's a basket of companies or stocks, and it allows you to diversify your portfolio by just simply investing in one thing. Now, there are several ETFs that I recommend, and there's an ETF out there for everything now. There's an ETF for uranium companies, URA. There's an ETF for solar companies, TAN. So there's an ETF for everything out there. But what I recommend going in and researching some of these ETFs is VTI, VUG, VOO, IJR, and VEU. So VTI is Vanguard's total stock market, so total US stock market. It is every publicly traded company in the US in one ETF. It does an average of about 11% a year since its inception, and it has about 3,500 companies. It is weighted to the biggest companies. So companies like Apple, Microsoft, Nvidia, they're going to be towards the top. They're going to hold the largest percentages of what you put in there. So, for example, let's say it says that Apple holds 4% of whatever you put in there. Every $100 you put in, $4 will go towards Apple. The next is VUG. That's about 600 growth companies. They're called growth companies because they tend to outperform the gross domestic product, the GDP, for the US. And so these are your more aggressive type companies, but you're diversified over 600, so you're pretty safe. The next one is VOO. That's your classic S&P 500. Now, both VUG and VOO are weighted again towards the bigger companies. So the S&P 500, if you want to invest in that, go with VOO. IJR is your BlackRock, your small cap companies. So your smaller businesses, smaller companies that are publicly traded, but a bit more volatile. There's about 600 or so in this particular ETF. And so it's going to be a bit more volatile than your bigger companies. And then VEU gets you some global exposure, international exposure outside of the US. And so that's going to get you some exposure overseas outside of the US. But these are ETFs that I recommend starting with. Get your investment journey started and going with these ETFs. Hey, if you enjoyed this video, I'd love for you to subscribe, follow along, and we will see you in the next video.